Hey, what's up, everyone? This is Josh. I want to take a really quick look at a movie that I just watched. People were like, you really need to give it a chance. I did. And wow, what a film. It's called Psycho Gorman. I'm not big on schlock, and I say that term endearingly. If you like trauma type movies, that's good for you. I have a friend who's really big into them, and, he's kind of educated me a little bit about the history of trauma. I know James Gunn, one of my favorite Marvel filmmakers. He kind of, I think, started out with trauma. When I saw the thumbnail for Psycho Gorman, I thought this movie was going to be a whole lot different than it actually is. I saw just a photo of the monster or whatever, the creature, the alien, and I thought, oh, okay, this is going to be one of those type movies where this, again, I'll just say creature, alien, he walks around murdering people. The name of it's Psycho Goreman, so I imagine there was going to be a lot of gore from a psycho, and there is. But then I was on Twitter, I was checking my Twitter feed, and there's a person who they review family movies, and they were talking about Psycho Goreman, and apparently the movie, they were talking about how it's about kids who they befriend the titular character, and it's a throwback to the 80s type of movies. And I thought, oh, okay, so it's a family movie.
But it wasn't.
Would I recommend it? It totally depends on who you are. This is not one of those movies like Saving Private Ryan, where I could go to a group of just a lot of people and say, hey, yeah, all of you should probably watch Saving Private Ryan. This is not one of those movies. To my parents, I would no way. I would not. To my wife, no, she wouldn't enjoy Psycho Gorman. To my friend who again is into trauma films, absolutely, I would recommend this movie. So what's the movie about? Well, basically, what is this movie about? I saw it and I'm still not entirely sure. Some kids, they unearth a gem that controls this kind of demonic, well, not really demonic, he's a creature from outer space. I mean, that's simplifying it, but that is the gist. He is a warrior. He's gone throughout the galaxy, destroyed umpteen other alien races and what have you, and he was banished to Earth. These kids, a little girl and her brother, they unearth a gem that controls this creature. And so basically he has to do whatever this little girl who has the gem, she keeps it, whatever she wants him to do. Let's go through a checklist. If you like trauma movies, okay, put a check. You'll probably like this. If you are nostalgic for things like Power Rangers, like I'm talking about the original Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, maybe you grew up with watching that, put a check. You might like this. A whole lot of references to Power Rangers. The creatures, the aliens, they look... Psycho Gorman, not so much, but a lot of the other alien creatures look like Power Rangers type makeup and outfits. Impressive in a way, but not too impressive. Like, some of them are wearing plastic or metal, and you see it bending the plastic or the rubber, the latex. The makeup and the... And the costumes are just impressive enough to make you go, huh, yes, that's cool looking, but not enough to like win an Oscar or anything. The first scene, these kids are playing this game they made up, and you even hear, to me, it sounded like the official Mighty Morphin Power Rangers riff. If you watch the show always the theme song began with that kind of guitar riff right before it cuts into the Go-Go Power Rangers theme song. It sounded just like they used that official one. Probably didn't, this type of movie, but so yeah, a lot of references that will make you think Power Rangers. Another one that's really heavy and kind of the main reference that hits in some ways nostalgia. Growing up in the 80s and kind of up to the mid 90s, there were a lot of family movies where kids would adopt an alien or they would befriend an alien. And or a monster. I know there was like one with Fred Savage where he befriended Howie Mandel as a monster. Um, and the thing about those movies is that the monsters and the aliens were always friendly. Like there might be a villain who was a bad alien, but the aliens and the monsters the kids befriended were always friendly. And they could always communicate with the kids. And the kids always just happened to befriend the nice alien, the nice monster. So this movie kind of riffs on that a little bit. Psycho Gorman is not, he is a warrior. I mean, he is out for blood. And and the kids are, you know, they're the typical 80s type kids. They befriend this warrior alien who just wants to kill them. The way the movie plays off of that, there's a lot of humor to be had. I mean, the movie has jokes and you will laugh. So if if you grew up with 80s films like I just described, put a check beside that. You might like this movie as well. A trope that this movie does have that I'm kind of over is the villain being religious. Like I said in my review of Wolfwalkers, which I had the same issue with, I get that there are bad people who use religion, they kind of hide behind it or they use it as a disguise. I get that. There are good and bad people, in pretty much any, well, I won't say any, but in a lot of groups, most groups, there are good people who are religious, then there are villainous people who are religious. But it feels like the villain, the scripture quoting or holier than thou type villain is just a trope I feel like writers or filmmakers, I'll say, is kind of the go-to. Oh, we need to make our villain have a layer to him or her, so we'll make them religious. That'll add a little bit of a layer to them. And I feel like we've seen that so much here. The villain, even though she is from outer space, an alien, still very religious. They have their own religion, obviously. I'm just kind of over that trope in a way. Decent villain though. There's a scene with the villain where when she is getting ready to come to Earth, she does something that is really intense. And I wish, I mean, it's intense enough in this type of movie, but it's kind of like, what? Holy cow, that was so cool. I almost wish that I'd seen that in a movie that took it a little more seriously, where I'll just say, she's in outer space, she's meeting with this council of other aliens, and she's getting ready to come to Earth. She wants to show them an example of a human. And so what she does when she has this example of a human, she's surrounded by all these goofy looking Power Ranger type monsters, and it's kind of like, wow, if I'd seen that in a more intense, more serious type of film, that would have been holy cow. The movie has an irreverent type humor. It's not afraid to show bad things happening to kids. I don't think it's a spoiler. I have my laptop here and the character is on the poster, so I don't think it's too huge of a spoiler. One of the main supporting kids gets turned into something, and the movie just plays it for laughs. Oh, he'll never recover from that. Oh, how funny. They reference that joke from the time it launches to the final shot of the film. They reference this kid, something happening to him. Little girl makes fun of Psycho Gorman, and he straight up blows her up. That's just not really my type of humor. I'm sure other people would find it funny, but a review on IMDb put it pretty good. They said this is a 5-star, 3-star movie. And I think that sums it up pretty well. The characters, the little girl, she's really over the top. I feel like maybe she was going by the direction she was given, because she's not bad. I mean, it's not like you see some kid actors who, they read their lines or they say their lines like they just read them off a page. Like someone told them what line to say, they said it. Oh, we got the take we needed. No, this girl, she's really emoting, but she's going way for it. With the right direction, the kid probably could give a Oscar-worthy performance, given how enthusiastic her performance is. But here, some of the actions, some of the lines, the way she says them, you're up here, we need to take it down to here. There's a dad slash husband in the film. He doesn't really do anything. Like, I mean, he's kind of a lazy bum, although the movie references the fact that maybe he doesn't realize it. And he kind of tries to change that a little bit. But the wife slash mother, she seems to do everything. Like, at one point he gets he gets a new TV, and when the mom acts or his wife acts kind of surprised in a negative way by it, he's like, oh, well, yeah, you better go pick up some more shifts at the pharmacy to pay for it. Then the movie kind of plays up the mom later on as a villain type character, even though she does all the work. She's paying the bills. So yeah, I don't know quite what to think of that, but the dad is funny. There's a bit of advice he gives his daughter that I won't spoil, but it's like he gives the worst parental advice, and that kind of also plays up the 80s, early 90s type sitcom thing where the dad was always giving the great advice. Anytime, I think Full House is kind of the gold standard of the big moment happens, kid has to make a decision, and here's dad with some good advice. The music slows down and he gives this wisdom. This movie has that type of moment, but the story he tells his daughter about a guy with a van is just not good advice at all. Religion plays a fairly big role in this movie. There's also a scene where the little girl, she prays, but then decides she doesn't need to, and she breaks a crucifix. I'm just that's not for me. I wasn't a fan of that joke at all. And you can say whatever you want to about me in the comments, but that, to me, I'm just not a big fan of that type of humor. The girl breaking the crucifix was not something that I just didn't like it, period. There is some good humor to be found in the movie, a lot of laughs. Again, if you like trauma type movies, if you grew up with family films from the 80s and early 90s, you're probably going to like this. You're probably really going to like this. The rest of you, probably not so much. This is not a movie for a kind of a mixed general crowd. This is definitely a movie more for, again, like I just said, people who appreciate that type of schlock type film. I'm not going to give this movie a star rating because it's not something where I can just generally say, watch this, or I recommend this. I would recommend this to a lot of people, but I wouldn't recommend it to probably more people because I think they wouldn't get the joke. If you get what I'm saying, I don't think. I think most people would watch this kind of wondering what the heck, what is this? But if you get the joke, if you understand what they're doing, that's probably the best way to put it. If you watch this movie and you get the joke, you get what they're doing, you get the references, you're probably going to love this. If you watch this and say within the first 10 minutes you're like, what the heck is going on? What is this? Then you might as well just turn it off. You're not going to get the rest of the film. So yeah, just some thoughts on Psycho Goreman. The director, Steven Kostanski, I'm reading it right here. He directed another movie called The Void that I saw several years ago. I don't remember a whole lot about it, but it too was a little out there, but I remember a lot of people thinking it was pretty good. I thought it was pretty good. So the guy, it wouldn't surprise me at all if this is one of those guys who Marvel or DC, some major studio is going to get this guy. He's going to be doing a big movie. If he wants to, I see him doing a big movie down the road. The talent on display is obvious. This type of movie, some people are going to love it. Some people are going to they won't hate it. They'll just be like, well, I don't understand what's happening here. Thanks for watching this review. If you enjoyed it, please like and subscribe. Follow my channel on Twitter. Comment below. Tell me what you thought of the movie. Have you seen it? Let me know. So yeah, Psycho Goreman. Must see movie of the year for trauma fans.